morning, children. Welcome back to part 2 of poem number 15, The Rum Tum Tugger, written by the poet T.S. Eliot. Now, children, make sure you are going to sit with a notebook, pen, and your new voice textbook. And let's start with page number 148. Now, children, you can just check out one image over here which has been, shown. Now, over here, the cat says, "If you offer me a pheasant, I did rather have a grouse." Right? So, yes, this particular line is taken from your poem, which is The Rum Tum Tugger. And this is a small image to show you, how this cat looks curious, isn't it? So now, children, what we will do is we'll quickly start a small recap, and after the recap we will continue with the remaining part of the poem. So yes, children, this is the picture of the poet T.S. Eliot, and as we know, children, he was born in the year 1888 and he died in the year 1965. Now, he draws attention, to the similarities between feline and human personality traits. Now, this particular poem, Rum Tum Tugger, is portrayed as the rebel cat who cannot help but be difficult. He is never satisfied with what you give him. So now, children, over here there is an image which also, shows few lines which are already given in the poem. So let us quickly read these lines from the poem. "The Rum Tum Tugger is a terrible bore. When you let him in, then he wants to be out. He's always on the wrong side of every door. And as soon as he's at home, then he did like to get about." This is from the poem The Rum Tum Tugger. So this is what the images are given on the Google as well. Children, if you want, you can go and check a few images from this poem as well. So now we will quickly start with, where we stopped in the previous video, and we will continue again with the remaining part of the poem. Now, children, we will quickly do a revision on what we did in the previous video. Now, in the previous video, we saw that, Rum Tum Tugger is a cat and he wants the exact opposite of what you give him. Like, for example, a grouse, if you give him, he wants a pheasant, isn't it? And if you give him a flat, he wants a house. If you're planning to give him a rat, he would rather prefer a mouse. And he wants to be outside if you let him in, isn't it? And yes, in the end, we also saw that he blocks doorways and, get into the bureau drawers where he cannot get out of, because sometimes he loves, lying in the drawers, and then he finds it difficult to come out from that particular drawer. So now, children, over there we stopped this particular poem. So now we will start further, the remaining part of the poem, which is on page number 149. Now over here the poet says, children, "The Rum Tum Tugger is a curious beast." Now, beast over here means animal. So the poet wants to say that Rum Tum Tugger is a curious animal. His disobliging ways are a matter of habit. Now, what do you mean by disobliging, children? Disobliging also could be the meaning like uncooperative. Okay, over here we also have a meaning which says deliberately unhelpful. Now, as I told you, it also means uncooperative. That means over here the poet is talking about his uncooperative behavior. And what is the uncooperative behavior, children? Yes, sometimes he likes this, sometimes he likes that. He doesn't like to sit at home. He wants to move out of the house. So there are so many ways in which the poet wants to say that his disobliging ways are a matter of habit. So he wants to say that yes, this kind of behavior, that means uncooperative ways of behavior, this is a matter of a habit. So it's a habit. right? Okay, so now we will further see what the poet wants to say. Then you can look at this picture which is given on page number 149 from your new voice textbook. Now over here you can see how the cat is creating mess inside the house. Now let us see what the poet wants to say. Now he says that if you offer him fish, then he always wants feast. Now what do you mean by feast, children? Feast over here means a large meal. That means if you offer fish to the cat would prefer feast. That means a large meal. Now, when there isn't any fish, then he won't eat rabbit. That means if there is no fish, then he won't eat rabbit also. Right? Now, if you offer him cream, then he sniffs and sneers. Now, if you are offering cream to the cat will sniff at the cream. Sniff means smell. That means the cat is going to smell the cream and sneers. Now, sneers over here means giving a mock smile, okay, mocking smile. So, yes, why? What is the reason, children? For he only likes what he finds for himself. That means he wants only what he likes for himself. Okay, let us see what the poet says further. So you will catch him in it right up to the ears. So over here, the poet says that we may feel like to catch his ears and pull him out. If you put it away on the larder shelf, and we may also feel like putting him away on one of the shelf of the larder. Now what I mean by larder, children, over here, it means a small room or large cupboard for storing food in a house. Now children, I've given you a picture over here which shows how exactly the larder shelf looks like. Okay, so just wait for a moment. Yeah, this is how the larder over there looks, and you can store the food or any other thing in this particular cupboard. So now the poet over here says that we may feel like to put him away on one of the shelf of the larder. The Rum-Tum Tugger is artful and knowing. Now children, why the poet is calling the Rum-Tum Tugger artful and knowing over here? As we discussed in the earlier slide, the poet is now planning to, put this particular cat on the larder shelf. The reason is the poet thought that he could just relax for some time, isn't it? But he says that Rum Tum Tugger knows everything. Artful means children clever, okay? And knowing, that means he knows everything. The Rum Tum Tugger doesn't care for a cuddle. That means cuddle means children to hold someone closely in arms. So the Rum Tum Tugger doesn't care for a cuddle. The Rum Tum Tugger doesn't care for a cuddle, but he will leap on your lap in the middle of your swing. Now, the Rum Tum Tugger doesn't care for a cuddle. That means the poet says that he is not bothered, for a cuddle. That means he doesn't want to hold someone closely in arms, but he will leap on your lap in the middle of your swing. That means if you are doing an activity of stitching, he will suddenly come and leap on your lap, okay, lie down on your lap in the middle of your activity. For there's nothing he enjoys like a horrible muddle. No, that means the poet says the reason is for, there's nothing he enjoys like a horrible muddle. Now, muddle over here means confusing state. That means to put the things in wrong order. The reason is he enjoys doing all this naughtiness. Okay, that's what the poet says. Yes, children, you can look at this picture how this curious cat is jumping on the lap while the poet is doing the activity of swing. Okay, so this is how the picture is giving us the clear idea. Yes, the Rum Tum Tugger is a curious cat, and there isn't any need for me to spout it. Now, spout over here means children to blurt out. That means to say something using a lot of words. So the poet over here says that there isn't any need for me to say something about the cat or to speak a lot about the cat, for he will do as he do, and there's no doing anything about it. That means the poet says, for as we know, the cat is going to do what the cat likes to do, and there's no doing anything about it. That means there's no one, including the poet, anyone can do anything about this. Okay, so this is where your poem is done, which is on page number 148 and 149. Yes, children, I'm very sure that you must have really enjoyed this poem. The reason is this poem has given us a wonderful message which actually describes the stubbornness of a human, especially the teenagers and the toddlers. And as we know, teenagers are the group between the age 13 and 19 years. And toddlers means those who just started walking. Okay. So if you offer them this, they want that. And so if you give them that, they instead wants to go for the first option, isn't it? So over here, the poet wants to say, let them do the things they want. And the reason is, any which ways they are going to do what they love to do and what they enjoy to do. So this is what the message which was given by the poet T.S. Eliot. And I'm very sure that you all are really going to recite this poem, which is given on your page number 148 and 149 from your New Voice textbook. So yes, children, we are done with part 2 of this video. Now, below this particular video, there is a link which is a worksheet. Make sure you're going to solve the worksheet and send it across online. So yes, children, we are going to meet you again with part 3, wherein we are going to discuss, the figures of speech, rhyme scheme, and a lot of other things with regards to this poem. So make sure you're going to read the poem, you're going to recite the poem, and also you will definitely go through all the important words which are given in this poem. So till we meet you again for the next time, children, till that time, take care. Bye-bye.